I hate going to church. I don't care what church it is on Easter and Christmas. I hate it. I hate it. But in spite of that, I actually really enjoyed my church service today. I didn't want to get up and go to church. Believe me. At 5 a.m, when I'm like, maybe I should go to sleep. Maybe I should actually close my eyes. I'm like, oh my God, I have to. Church is at 10:30, but I have to be up at 8 because I had other shit to do. It's Easter. I don't want to go. I didn't want to get up and go to church. I woke up. I was the crabbiest motherfucker on the planet this morning. I hated everything. I hated atoms for existing, and I haven't even seen one. I was so mad. But then I got up, got going, got the family packed up. We went to church, and I'm sitting there and like, I fucking hate being at church on Easter. Oh, it's the worst. They didn't sit in the tomb. Jesus didn't sit and lecture them. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, Mary, here it's me. Go tell everybody because I don't want to. The priest, the highest priest, took the fucking day off on Easter. Now we're like, no, we got to do this every time. No, he didn't want to. But I don't want to be at church on it. So I'm sitting there like, oh God. And then like another group, and like the way our church works is they have these rotating worship teams where they sing, like the singing, right? That's what worship means in a Protestant church. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you say worship in a Protestant church, you literally only mean the people singing up front. That's it. Worship is literally relegated to singing. When people discuss it, they know somewhere up here that worship is bigger than that, but that's all they're talking about. So they're like, oh, the worship. So there's a bunch of worship teams that rotate in normally throughout the year. Well, on Easter, all of them get to do it. So you're just sitting there like waiting for each one to go. You're like, oh, now the bad one's next. Oh, damn it. That lady, she stopped being able to sing in the womb. Can she still? No, God. Why does she move her mouth like that? Ew. And you're sitting there just like frustrated. That part. So I'm in a negative mood. Of course. Like it's probably my skin crawling from all of the like latent Satanism that God is punishing me for. Just sitting there like, oh God, can this be over? And then the preacher starts talking. And I'm like, oh, this will be insightful. Because it's Easter. They all say the same thing every time. And he didn't disappoint. But I liked it anyway. It was nice. Actually, though, no joke. So we do all the worship stuff. Forever. Then my son is Jesus in a play about how he's not in the tomb. And he knocks over a flower pot, which was funny. I'm like, good job, buddy. But they were fake flowers. Hashtag exposed. They're shoved in a foam block. I'm like, those are fake. Those are good fake flowers. Well, we were way back in Egypt looking. Like, where did Moses go still? And we're sitting there looking. Like, those are good looking flowers. Nope, they were fake as hell. So when he knocked that thing over, and it was like the slow motion fall where it like goes and it hits something and then hits something and hits something. And then it's like, oh no, it's all good. It's going to land on the bottom. And then it like the flowers fall out. And you're like, no, there's going to be dirt everywhere. There was no dirt. That was great. So I'm sitting there and that was fine. Like they did a good job, except for the one poor Mary, her mic was off and they tried to like turn it on. She had the wireless mic and they tried to turn it on, but it didn't work. So this is just a catastrophe, but like not a bad catastrophe. Anyway, that happens. And the preacher's going and we're all done with everything. And I'm falling asleep like every 2 seconds. But I wasn't even tired. It's just how I react to everything these days. Anything where I have to sit, so Lady Rag's like, wake up. You're falling asleep. You're falling on me. Wake up. She wasn't mad. She just helps me. So so I'm like, okay, I got to go take a walk. So I get up and go take a walk. This is way too much story for this, but sorry, you're in it. I go take a walk and I come back. I'm like, I'm energized. I'm like, okay. I went out in the cold. It was nice. Came back. And I'm like, okay, this preacher's going to wrap this sermon up sometime today and I can go home and go to sleep. He gets to this spot and we'd sang this song at the beginning that I didn't really recognize. And he's like, we sang this song earlier, but we're going to sing it again now, but like the old version, like the old hymn version that was written by a German and translated into Swedish and then translated into English. And all it is guilt and hatred. That's not true, but that's how they feel because the words are stern. But so he starts singing a cappella. He shouldn't. He's a nice guy, but he shouldn't do that. a cappella this song, this old hymn. And everybody's singing along with him because it's church and they're robots. And they were sitting there singing. And it gets to this line, though. It gets this line that really fucking hit like a sledgehammer. And it was, life is worth the living because he lives. All right. And like, I don't know if any of you have dealt with depression. I don't know if any of you have dealt with suicidal thoughts or even just thoughts of worthlessness or like a lack of existence being preferable to what you have. I know I've talked to so many people who have a loss of purpose, a loss of direction. They're like, well, what is life even for? Right? Like, what is life for? Like, what the fuck are we even doing here? We're going to toil away at a job for some, Jesus Christ is risen. We're going to toil away to some job every day of our lives until we retire into mediocrity. That sucks. Doesn't sound fun. Like, isn't there some purpose? And you're like, no, of course not. The world is here to cripple you and crush you into nothing because you don't matter, right? Like, that's it. You suck. No one cares about you. That's how you feel. You know, why do I even live? What's my direction? What's my goal? And if you ask someone, they're like, I actually don't know. Like, even someone who's happy with life, they're like, well, I kind of like living. It's cool. It's preferable to being dead. You're like, but why though? They can't tell you. They're like, well, I mean, I guess this is probably better. I think. I don't know. But they can't give you a reason why you do. And so a lot of people sit there in this like lost place of, I have no purpose. I have no reason. Why am I alive? What am I doing? And that line was like, oh, by the way, when Jesus had the opportunity to die, because you believe. Now, the implication here is you believe in Jesus. Like, it wouldn't matter if you're like a Buddhist or whatever. Nothing matters to them. It's all like give and take. Or I don't know. I don't know Buddhism that well. They're fat. But you have to believe in Christ for this to matter, okay? It's like, oh, when he died, he could have just like fucked off to heaven where he's like king or something. I don't know. But instead, no, he came back. He like conquered death. And what are you? Like, what are you doing? You got shit to do. Live. Life is worth the living because he lives. It was this, I know it sounds cheesy and gay and stupid because it is, but also like sometimes that needs to hit you a little bit. Because like, oh, you're looking for purpose. Why? Like, why are you looking for purpose? You don't need one. You have one, but you don't need to know what it is. Like, just get out there and do it. Get out there and live. Why? Well, Jesus did. And you're a piece of shit compared to him. That guy's cool. Hung around with hookers, strippers, tax collectors. Those guys are. He's hanging around with feds and strippers, guys. Or well, hooker. They didn't do strip shows back then, I don't think. It's like, what, the bed sheet just falls off of them? But they weren't even a trend. It doesn't matter. He's hanging out with the bad people. Like, he's partying like crazy. He was cool. Blind people are there. And they're like, oh, this guy's... Blind people can see that he was cool. So it's like, well, that guy's cooler than you. You suck. So you should try living instead. I don't know. It's just good. It hit right. I don't know if you guys like have ever had to deal with that, but if you have or you know someone who has, it's not like a pleasant thing. There's nothing that you can ever say to someone who's like, what's my purpose in life? Why should I bother living? Like, I don't know. Kind of ugly. What do I say to you? What do you say to people? It's tough. You're like, well, you should live because why? People don't like me. I can't get a job. I can't do this, can't do that. And you're like, that's actually a pretty good list of reasons, you know? Like, you might be onto something. You should never talk to me about that because I'm like, oh God, all I can come up with is because, like, gotta catch the next episode of and hope they say a show that they're waiting for. Because if they don't, got news for you. Means you're dead. Anyway, so I was really glad. to go to the service today, even though I didn't want to. I never want to go to Easter service. But we went there, it was good. There's this nice little gem in the message that hit nice. Hit nice, like, ooh. Pastor keep talking to me. Oh, wait, no, this isn't the Catholic Church. Never mind. Anyway, I'm going to be full of tangents today. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.